Welcome to Chai with Ping. This is Ping Robert. In this podcast, I cover immigrant stories, cross-cultural experiences, and minority issues. Join me with a cup of chai and take a listen. All right, we're ready. You ready?
Yes.
All right, let me do the intro.
Okay.
Welcome to Chai with Ping. My name is Ping, and thank you so much for tuning in to our show. And as usual, I am gonna invite you to subscribe and follow on your podcast apps, whatever you're using, either it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or other apps. You can definitely just follow or subscribe so that you can get new episode every 2 weeks. And also you can see more information or pictures along with the episode on our social media, including Facebook and Instagram. So the handle is at Chai with Ping. So you can easily find me there, and I would love to hear from you. All right. So enough of that commercial thing. Today I have a very special guest with me that she was born in Burma and moved to Thailand when she was a little older, and then moved to the US when she was 14. So I'm very interested in her story. She has a long journey all the way through till now. So let's welcome Pawku.
Well, hi. Thank you for having me. It is my honor, my pleasure, and I'm very excited just to be here to talk with you, Ping, and just to share about my life experience.
Yeah, definitely. So Pawku, what do you do right now?
So right now, I just graduated from Charis Bible College in this summer, and right now I am doing intern with Bridges International Ministry or organization, where we just welcome international students for all around the place, and we just get connected with them, talk with them, build a friendship with them, and just to share about Jesus with them and just talk about life.
That's right. Yeah, I met Pawku at Bridges International here in Denver, and we happened to have the social gatherings together. And so Bridges International, it would be great for the international students here in the US. If you're an international student or you know anyone who needs some support or social groups, that feel free to introduce them to Bridges International. They are all around the state. And we also open up. So I kind of volunteer with them. Like I don't see myself as just a regular student. I also want to contribute and serve the students. If students are interested in spiritual conversations, we definitely provide that platform. And if they're interested in Jesus, and we can definitely talk about that piece as well. So then, Pawku, let's go straight into your background. So you were born in Burma. Did you remember anything, or you moved away when you were very young?
Yes, I was born in Burma, and then I left Burma when I was 4. I don't remember a lot, but I have a vivid memory, like about certain place, and then I will go back to my mom and I will ask her like, oh, this place kept coming into my mind. Then my mom will start to explain to me, oh, this place is your grandparents' house, this place at this field. So my mom will explain those things to me.
So you keep dreaming the fields in the house of your grandparents?
Yes, there is one memory that I have that, and there is another memory that I was in a dry field. I think it must be when we run Civil War or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Was it like happy memory for you?
The one with my grandparents, yes, it was a happy memory because my grandparents live in a wooden house that built really big and tall. And I remember I was in a house and I looked down and I saw elephants coming.
Yeah.
So it was a fun memory.
Wow. Okay. And where was that in Burma? Is it in the suburban or rural areas or in the cities?
Is I believe it is in the village because we live in pretty much in the jungle. Yes, there's no electricity, no school, stuff like that.
Yeah. And then you mentioned the second memory is about civil war. So how does it look like for you?
Um, I don't really remember a lot, and thank God
Mm,
I don't want to remember because
yeah.
my parents would talk a lot about it, and
Mm,
it's awful. And for me, the one that I happen to see is I because of what happened, I suffer from what happened for the Civil
mm,
War. So
okay.
I'm so glad that I don't remember, but I
Yeah.
remember one field that I was in. It was very dry, like
Mm,
big field and dry. I think that was I have a lot of memory kept popping for me from that
yeah.
point,
Yeah.
uh, but I don't remember much.
Got it.
Excuse me.
So when you were growing up, what did
Mhm.
your parents tell you about the war?
Oh, so many
Yeah.
um, so we ran Civil War. They would talk a lot about what happened while we're running.
Mm,
People would die, people will cry, people are starving, people are
mm,
sick. Um, Many people, like especially the older one, they
mm.
will die. So they said that they had to have a pile of people, like a death pile, and they would
Yeah.
just go and put people there. So
Got it.
it was like that a lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
persecution, what they do, what Burmese military do to us. Oh, it's a lot.
I know. So, give me a little historical background because I am not sure if the one that I know is correct.
Yes. Military is the one.
Mm-hmm.
Burmese military, the one that is
Yeah.
dominant and
Okay.
they're in control. That's because they have weapons that is supported by other country. They're evil. They do a
Mm,
lot of bad things to us, not just me, but
mm.
to other tribe in Burma. Yes.
Oh, okay. So what tribe are you from?
So I'm a tribe called Karen.
Korean. Okay. And
There's
okay. So it's almost like a racial genocide they're trying to do. They want to keep their own tribe, but they kill other tribes.
they it is genocide, but
Uh-huh.
that I'm not sure, but they do want to wipe off like my tribe and other people tribe.
Okay.
Um, but now the military is just killing everybody, even though their
Got
own
it.
tribe, like um, Burmese
Yeah.
citizens
Yeah, yeah,
still
yeah.
kill them. So
Okay. Wow. And so at the age of 4, that's also your family decided to move. Okay.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's because civil war broke out really bad and we couldn't live there. But back then, also persecution is going on for many years, more than 70 years,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how my ancestors are dealing with. And but
Mm-hmm.
in my generation, they couldn't like hide as they used to or anymore, so they flee. Yes, at the age of 4.
So at that time, did your family leave anyone behind or the whole extended family moved together?
Well, we are in like different places in
Mm-hmm.
Burma, so my other aunts or uncle, they have their own way of trying to escape for Burma. For me and my family, we have our own way try to escape for Burma, and like my family by my mom's side, they grew up in an island in Burma, like a tiny island. Some of that they don't want to leave. They feel like this is my home, this is where I belong, so this is where I want to stay. So they stay.
And so I guess you don't have any memory of the move.
No,
No. And why did your family choose to move to Thailand?
because that's the closest that they can run to. In Burma, they live close to the border of Thailand.
That's right.
So when civil war
Oh,
broke out, Thailand is the closest
the
border that we
neighboring
can
country.
escape.
Got it.
Yeah,
Oh,
escape
so
to.
if I assume correctly, if people move around like Laos, they will move to Laos. Is that correct? Or to China?
Maybe because we're just trying to escape, to survive,
Mm-hmm.
to
Okay.
get out of Burma.
Yeah.
because they're searching like everywhere in Burma just to kill people.
Got it. Yeah. So then after moving to Thailand, which side of Thailand, which part of Thailand did you move to?
We're in the
Hmm.
south west, I believe,
Okay.
close to the border of Thailand, Burma.
Okay. Oh, okay. And then how long did you stay here there?
So in Thailand, we stay there for 10 years.
Okay. And well, let's talk about that. So I guess you will have some memories. How, like, I cannot imagine how a family kind of uproot themselves and move to a brand new country without, like, I don't know. It's probably very hard to bring a lot of things. So maybe like a few suitcases and all. And then how many kids do your parents have?
My parents have 5 kids, and
Oh,
yes, total is seven family of us.
okay. And then how, so are you the first one or like what is your rank?
I am the fourth child in my family. So I
Wow,
have three
okay.
brothers older than me, and my younger sister.
Got it. Okay. Oh, so just two girls out of five.
Yeah, 2 girls, 3 boys. Yeah, lots of boys.
Nice. Okay. So then how did they settle down with 5 kids? Did you find a place to live or was there any organization helping you guys?
It was hard. So when we went into Thailand, they didn't want to accept us because we're not their citizen. But they can't turn us away because there is a war is going on, and if we go back, we will die. So they have no choice but accepting us. And um, because we're not that citizen, we don't have the paper and the right to live there. They place us in refugee camp, and when we get there, there is nothing but um, a lot of bushes, trees, and yeah, stuff, plants that we just had to live there and make our own place. And yeah,
So at that time, there were already refugee camps from the Thai government, I guess. And did you get any support from them or your parents had to work?
in refugee camp, we do get support like
Mm-hmm.
I believe they're United Nations. They
Mm-hmm.
come in like once a month and they give us rice and
Mm-hmm.
other stuff like fish once a month
Mm-hmm.
and beans once a month. But like we eat like 3 times a day. Our stomach is grinding 24/7. So like those things with the 5 kids and 2 parents is not enough for what they
Yeah.
give us.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. So
Mm,
my parents, they have to work,
mm.
and we don't have the right to go out as we want. They
Yeah.
don't allow that for
Mm.
us. So I would sneak out with my dad just to get out of refugee camp, to crawl over
Yeah.
the fence, and
Yeah.
go walk many hours and work for other Thai people with there to get paid.
Okay.
So that's how we survive.
What kind of job did your dad do?
So it pretty much there's this Thai guy that he lives in the city, and he also has a land um in like outside of the city. So he needs
Mm,
somebody to take care of it. So my dad met him, and my dad took care of those land. It's pretty
mm.
much like planting, take care of land, water stuff. Yeah,
Wow.
cutting
Okay.
tree.
Yeah. Did the kids get education at all?
I go to school, yes.
Mm. Is it like a Thai education or like did you still keep the Burmese education system?
It's it's not Thai
Mm.
education. We do have a textbook.
Okay.
It's pretty much basic. I think
Mm-hmm.
that whoever is helping refugees out there, they're doing their best.
Mm.
Um, and I'm very, very thankful for that because I'm still learning. So
Mm.
it is basic. We are not getting education for Thai, but
Mm.
it's the thing that people in refugee camp are adding up, like we're learning our own language, culture, and history. And
Okay.
we are learning language like Burmese and
Mm-hmm.
English, but English
Mm-hmm.
like basic stuff like that.
Got it. Okay. So there were Burmese people and volunteers or some other people helping you guys through the Burmese educational system. So then you were taught in that, like in the language and the culture.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay.
something similar like that. Yes.
Okay. I didn't imagine like how a schooling culture will be in a refugee camp. Okay, thank you for sharing that. So what did your mom do?
In refugee camp. Oh, I
Yeah.
don't remember, but I think she just could taking care of us, cleaning
Mm-hmm.
houses. She's involved in church, so she do things with the churches,
Mm,
and she does go out and work sometimes,
mm-hmm.
like in weekends. Sometimes when we don't have school, she does go out,
Mm.
sneaked out of refugee camp and work with my dad, and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Hey, let's talk about the church that you have in the camp because I cannot imagine how would you have a church at the camp?
Yeah. I mean, it's I think that my tribe, my people, we came from like animated people. We worship tree, we worship um weird thing, we do spell, and oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy.
Mm.
Um, but when the first missionary in the United States, he went to Burma and he meet other tribe first, then he met us,
Oh,
and then that's how
okay.
my ancestor accepted the gospel. And I
Yeah.
think that since then it passed on to us to generation, and we do know God,
Mm-hmm.
and we pray and God answer. But I
Mm.
think there is that running time, that time when running civil war,
Mm-hmm.
because we're in our death, you know, when
Mm.
we're experiencing near death.
Mm.
So I think during that time we call out a lot to God. And
Mm.
I think when we came to refugee, we want to make that, oh, okay, we want to thank God. We want
Mm.
to, you know, thank God for helping us to
Mm.
survive and keep us alive all those years. So, and so that's why we have church in refugee camp, and most people
Got it.
are Christians. They go to church. There's a few that are like Buddhism, but yeah, most of us are Christian.
Okay, that's interesting. Then you keep your faith and then your culture still in the camp. And then
Mhm.
even though living in Thailand for 10 years, I guess you still spoke Burmese, not
We
Thai?
speak Korean.
Oh, oh,
We have
Korean.
our own
Oh,
language, Korean.
okay.
I learned about Burmese, but I forgot all of it now. It was
Okay.
I didn't take it for granted because I'm like, I'm running for these people. Why am I learning their language?
Yeah,
I
got it.
didn't value it.
Yeah,
Now I
yeah, yeah.
forgot all.
Is there script for Korean?
Yes.
So you know how to read and write.
Yes.
Wow, that is so cool. I would love to see like maybe your handwriting or something like that in a picture. That
Yeah,
would be really
yeah, we
cool.
can.
Yeah. Is it very
Yeah, we can.
different from Burmese?
It's similar to Burmese
Uh-huh.
because when we came into Burma, we can speak our own language. Our
Mm-hmm.
original language is more like Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
Korean, those kind of things that you had to that
Characters. Yeah, yeah.
character. Because we can't speak our own language in
Uh-huh.
Burma, we had to speak Burmese, so our language got lost through
Oh,
that period.
okay.
When
Yeah.
the missionary came, he took Burmese language and he made it to our language. So our language is similar to Burmese.
Got it. Okay. So she took that Burmese alphabet system to
Mhm.
make Korean writable again because the
Yeah.
script
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
lost. Oh, that
Mhm.
is so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Share maybe a home culture of Korean that other people won't know. For example, is there any special food that you eat or special thing that you do over a holiday or that kind of thing?
Well, we eat a lot of rice, of course. And one thing that is so popular in our culture is called Korean noodle. Yeah, it's people eat it everywhere. You go to every house when we have events or people have a gathering, big events or small events. We have that like everywhere.
Okay.
It is very popular one. And I think New Year is big one. We celebrate New Year. It can go on for a long time.
Yeah.
In back our hometown, but here we can't do that because
Yeah.
we don't have the place, we don't have the time. New Year is a big one, especially in the United States, because then we can just get to have that time in a year that we get to celebrate our culture, gather, and we wear our own traditional clothes. I eat our Korean food. So yeah, you should come. The Korean New Year's
Yeah.
coming in January. You should definitely come and check it out. It
Okay.
will be really fun for you to come and try Korean food too.
Definitely. How does Korean noodle look like and what is it made of?
Is I don't know how to call those stuff.
Well, do you have a picture for that?
I do have a picture.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So noodle, like white noodle, I think it might be similar to something that I ate at your church
Yeah. Yeah.
thing. I don't know what like there's a noodle,
Okay.
some similar like that. We can like the broth, we can do like fish or other stuff. But mostly I think people do fish, egg, and we put in something like banana tree there. Banana tree, like I don't know what you call it.
Banana tree?
Yeah. I don't know
Okay.
what you call it, but it's
I
something
know. The tree itself or the leaves?
not leaves, the tree itself. Yeah.
Okay. I will definitely need a picture from you. That is so interesting. So we talk about a little bit about your home culture and the background of you moving to Thailand. Now I'm curious about your story moving to the US because you moved to the US when you were 14, right?
Yes, that's right.
How did you move? Like the whole family moved again after 10 years?
My parents, I'm so happy. They know that like they want the best for us. They want a better future for us, a better education for us. That's why they choose to come to United States. And oh my gosh, it was just crazy. I'd never been on a flight before. So I was like, oh, I'm half sleeping, half awake while walking out of the airplane. And I was airplane sick. And so it was interesting journey to get out of there.
How did you feel?
Good, very good. Because knowing that we don't have to live in fear. Because in refugee camp we can't leave refugee camp, and if we leave and we come back in, sneak back in, sometime me and my family will never get caught, but other people will get caught and they got beat up by the security there, because that refugee camp is guarded by security. So we just don't feel like we have the freedom. We can do as we want. We don't have education. So we just feel like we're stuck, there's no hope there. So it feels really good to come to US. It feels strange that we're like finally out of refugee camp. And it feels very exciting, strange at the same time, because everything changed for me. Like even the air, the smell, the place, everything changed. So it was a mix of feelings.
Yeah. Did you have to apply for like visas or like through the UN or?
Yeah. So we live in refugees camp for so long that I think maybe they don't want us to live there anymore.
Yeah,
And we are nationless. We don't belong to any nation. We don't know where to go. So United Nations, they came in and they give us option. You can choose to go out of refugee camp, to choose to go to this country, or you can choose to stay. What do you want? And my parents choose to go. And after that, we went through interview processing a lot. We had to go through our health. We had to go through interview like after interview. So with our background, to make sure that we're good people, not bad people. We make sure that we don't bring in any like disease, stuff like that. So we go through health. We take a lot of shots, vaccine before we came. So it was a long process to come here to US.
Where did you land first?
We landed in Texas, Fort Worth, Texas first, because my dad has a family that already live there in Dallas, so they choose to come to Texas. But they put us in Fort Worth instead of Dallas. I don't know why, but we're okay to stay there.
And then how long did you stay there to wait until you move again?
So in Fort Worth, Texas, we didn't like it there. And also my mom already have a sister who live in Colorado. They came ahead of us, like maybe a few years. So we didn't like it in Texas. So we decided to move. And also in the meantime, my parents are dealing with a like health issue. So and my mom, I guess she likes being around her sister more. So we moved to Colorado after 6-7 months in Fort Worth.
Wow. And then you just grew up in Colorado.
Yeah, since then, yes, I've been in Colorado, different part of Colorado, and I loved it. My whole family like it too. We just recently bought a house as a family. For the first time, we own a house for our entire life. So it was a good life. We feel like our life just started to process after maybe 40 years in US. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, wow, definitely. Congratulations on the new house.
Thank you. It's a lot.
So, yeah, you mentioned it's been 14 years you have been here.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. How has that journey been for you?
It's very hard. It's because my family, we grew up poor, we grew up in poverty, we don't have anything. We really literally don't have anything. We don't speak the language. My parents are not educated because what's going on with Burma, and it was very difficult. And as me coming from that background, I always search in a early age, a child, I always question, like, who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I going through this? This is not fair. Why am I living? What's the point of me living? So I think coming to US, because that hit me even more, because I don't speak the language and my parents are struggling with that health issue. And I'm trying to figure out who am I and try to fit in this culture. So it was very difficult, very, very difficult.
And so, wow, 5 of you guys, then that means your brothers are a lot older as well.
They're older.
Were you guys just put into school and start learning from scratch as ESL students?
Yes. In Texas, we had that, but it is harder when you don't understand anything. And then I came home with speaking our own language. So it's harder to learn and keep up with everybody else in class, in school. It's harder. But I remember there's this one ESL teacher, she would come in and pick me out of the class and take me to the hallway, and we would have like a conversation. She would teach me like one-on-one English, have a conversation and learning vocabulary. So that was helpful.
So all these years, I just don't really know much about how refugees are getting supported here in the US. So you came as refugee, as in, I think it's a visa type, right? Then did the government support you in some ways?
Yes, definitely. And that is so helpful. When we came in, like with our flight, like the whole family, our flight, stuff like that, they pay first. I don't know who paid first. They pay in advance and we pay them back monthly. My parents work and they pay back all our flight fee. We pay back monthly. And also, like in the beginning, they place us in an apartment. And also in the meantime, they're helping us find a job. And while we don't have a job, we do get like support for them. And when we have a job, then we don't get that anymore. So yeah.
Okay, got it. So does it mean that if your parents lose their job right now, they will still get some stipend? No.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did your parents do?
Mom worked at a hotel in the beginning while my dad was sick. And yeah, my dad is working close to airport right now.
Mm,
Yeah, so we just, and my brothers work, my sister work, I work. So we
yeah.
just help out each other as a family.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So you
how
keep mentioning about the health issues that your family faced. Would
Mhm.
you care to share a little bit about it?
So yeah, my dad, he has this thing in his brain. I believe it is like mad cow disease, where like he has a worm egg in his brain. So that started when he ate some food in Burma, and since that he had a headache, and since that it started and it affected him, sometimes he would pass out for a few days. Sometimes he would get seizure, or sometimes he would get a lot of headache for a long period of time. And when that happened, he can't do anything. But we pray a lot as a family, as a child and a daughter. I care about my dad, so I pray a lot. And God is answering those questions. So I can see those things decreasing in him. And when we came to US, it started a little bit. And then as time go on, my whole high school year, I kept praying for my dad like the whole time in my whole high school year. And now he's better. The doctor used to say that he can't work or do anything. He can't drive, but now he can work and he drive. He do all of the things that the doctor said he can't do. So it's a miracle to see that God is
Wow.
answering my prayer. So
So
yeah.
medically, there was no way to help that worm to get out?
I don't know, but I don't think so. But
Mm,
medication help. I think
mm-hmm,
they prescribe him different medication when we came here. So
mm.
it's helpful.
Wow. Because you went through a lot in three different
Uh-huh.
countries and different cultures as well, how does that
Mm.
shape your perspective in your life?
You mean like how I see the world, how I
Mm,
live, or
yeah,
how?
or how what kind of impact it has on you?
Because I came from nothing. I ran civil war, and we don't have the freedom to live as we want. We don't
Mm,
have that privilege. So I think just being in the United States, I am thankful, I'm grateful to be living here and not going through persecution and not going through starvation, especially when we are learning and we can just learn for many ways, especially self-taught. So I think I'm very grateful. And one of the things that I appreciate is people and God, because I was praying a lot, and I'm thankful that God heard me, and through God's work, He brought people along my side to help me, to guide me, to lead me, to support me when I just feel I don't want to live anymore. Because like for me, like what's the point of living? It's not worth it to live anymore if I'm going through all this thing. Life is very difficult for me, especially coming from civil war, and you don't have a nation to belong to. It's like everything is so difficult. Um, so yeah, and especially like with my parents, they don't depend on us. I mean, we don't depend on them, they depend on us. So as immigrant kids come here learning, and thinking that your parents depend on you is a huge burden. So I just appreciate life.
yeah,
Even though like I want to die,
yeah,
but not just appreciate life. I appreciate God and appreciate other people,
mm,
because I found that all these things that those journey, one thing that satisfied me is God, because
mm,
God and to have a relationship with God, to know God and to believe in Him, because through that He leads me, He guides me, He places me in the right place, He bring into the right people into my life, and through that it helped me to keep going through my life. It support me, it gives me encouragement to see my future and also to see God in them.
What are
Yeah.
your hopes? Do you hope to go back to Burma?
Oh yes, yes. I do. I hope to go back to Burma, and like for me, Jesus is so important for me because I realized that going through starvation and all those things is, and people help me is good. But one thing making me strong is believe in Jesus, because when we have Jesus in our life, I found that for me, he go with me, he stay with me, and he can help me better than other people can help me. He's internal, he lasts forever with me, he's everywhere with me. When other people can't be there, he is with me. So I want to give that same hope to my people from Burma, and I have a heart to go back to Burma and share the gospel, share Jesus, talk about God, talk about the meaning of life, talk about who they are, why they live in this world, like all the questions that I ask for myself. So I want to be able to have that conversation with them, to provide them that support and encouragement. But right now, Burma is not safe. It's closed off, and military took off and are killing people. People are dying as we're talking. People are running civil war, hiding, wounded, crying, starving right now as we're talking. So it's really sad. I'm praying for them. My heart is sad for them, and my heart is there. And yes, I do want to go back, and I can't go back right now. So
I
if I go
know.
back, I'll have to
Yeah.
sneak in.
Yeah, I heard from the news. It's very difficult and challenging time for
There,
Burma
yes.
right now. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what about your future plans?
My future plan, I'm not sure, but I think it might take in the next, I don't know, 5, 10 years. I love to write a book. But I really had to hear from God what kind of book I would like to write. Well, write books and yeah, maybe get married, have kids, and then go to Burma, do mission. And at the meantime, before I get there, I have a lot of personal growth to work on. So that's what I will be focused on, my own personal growth, physical and spiritual. And then the next 10 years, then hopefully uh, books will come out, or other things that God has put in me.
Pawku, you're so cool. Wow, we talked so much. And before we end, is there anything else you would like to add that we didn't cover before?
But I just want to say thank you for listening, and thank you for this opportunity. And I hope this um, my life story will encourage somebody to go on and living their life,
Yeah.
and appreciate life and appreciate community and people around them. But especially, life is more than that. I think the most important thing is knowing who Jesus is and have a relationship with Jesus. So I would say, if you don't know Jesus, then give Jesus a chance. He is the most fulfilling. After me going through all that life trouble, hardship, poverty, and yeah, I went through a lot, like depression, anxiety, thought of suicide, low self-esteem, and all that. And I overcome that because of Jesus. And I think that the one who helped me to overcome it is Jesus. So I hope that you guys would just give Jesus a chance.
Yeah, definitely. I have a feeling that you might come back to the show again to talk about some other topics. But yeah, so Pawku in this episode talked about her background in Burma, Thailand, and moving to the US as a refugee. And she also shares some of the challenging issues or, her thoughts throughout her journey. And we also talk about what she was grateful for. And apparently Christian faith has become very, very important for her life, and it has become the support and kind of like a only solution to your problems, right, Pawku?
Yes, that's right.
So thank you so much. And then for listeners, if you want more stories like this, please do follow me. And also, if you have questions, send a little DM or email me at chaiwithping@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And if you have questions to Pawku, I would love to receive it and then forward it to her. And maybe in the future, we can do another episode on different topics. Thank you so much for coming, Pawku.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to Chai with Ping. If you think someone will benefit from this episode, don't forget to share it with them. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you like my show, you can buy me some chai with small donations. Details are in the episode notes. Till next time!